Welcome back, everybody, to Simplexity Analytics Seasonal Report for May of 2025. May is a little bit of a slow month as we only have three markets that are the most bullish or bearish. We have the US dollar index is the most bullish, and conversely, the euro currency is the most bearish. And that makes a lot of sense because these two markets generally work opposite to one another. And then the other most bearish month would be for cotton. So we're going to take a more in-depth look at the comparison between the US dollar and the euro currency this month. And then as well, as always, we take a look at the S&P E-minis too. First up, we're going to have a look at the US dollar index for May. May is the most bullish month. 63% of the time the US dollar will finish May higher than it opens and has made just over $10,000. And if we look at where the vertical lines are marked off for the Mays in the previous years, and we look at the bottom of the chart with our Simplexity Analytics seasonal indicator at the bottom, we see how May starts off with a little bit of a rally and then tails off. Each of these years to a little bit different degrees, but are all showing the same thing, an initial rally and then tailing off at the end. So let's see if that is what is showing on the heat map as well. Now, for supposedly the most bullish month of the year for the US dollar, I'm not seeing very much bright greens here. I'm seeing some green in total, but not great numbers in terms of percentages or dollar values. The best cluster here would be in the first couple of weeks, so that would correspond well to the indicator showing that initial rally in May, and then it tails off. And it tails off in a big way because we have a lot of bright reds down here towards the end of the month, which are, of course, the indicator for sell signals. So the first 2 weeks are the most important here for the bullish areas, but nothing great, although we do have the second best 5-day hold of the entire year occurring in the second week, and that would be May 7th. So let's have a look at the euro currency and see how it compares. And the stats for the euro currency, with May being the most bearish month, are 36% of the time it finishes higher. So that means 64% of the time it finishes lower. So that's a bearish month. And if you were to take long side trades, it would lose $29,000. That means on a short side, it makes just under $30,000 in the past. And if we look at the seasonal indicator, it is showing pretty much the opposite of what the dollar showed. It shows an initial drop and then a rally towards the end. Each of these years is pretty similar. So now let's have a look at the heat map for the euro currency. And this is more like what we want to see. We want to see in a bearish month a lot of bright reds, in a bullish month a lot of bright greens. The US dollar index didn't have enough bright greens, whereas this one, by comparison, has a lot better winning percentages and a lot higher dollar value. So if I'm looking to trade one of these this month, according to the heat maps, I'm going to concentrate on the euro currency because it has better dollar values, more bang for the buck here. And according to the heat map compared to the seasonal indicator, we have the initial drop off bearish towards the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month we have that rally. So that is shown here as well on the heat map. Now, in terms of where to focus in on here for short trades, I'm going to focus in on the first 2 weeks, and then maybe you got a really short trade here in the third week. That's kind of a one-day thing here where we have some sideways bright reds there, but really concentration here starts towards the end of the week here, May 8th and 9th, and then carrying over into the following week where we have a lot of bright reds. We have some here over five digits for over $10,000 with 90 plus winning percentages here. A good area to be looking short if a setup occurs in the euro currency. And for our monthly look at the S&P E-minis, we see that May is a middle of the pack month. It's the sixth most bullish, so it's right there in the middle. It has 68% winning percentage and has made $15,000. So not a good dollar amount, especially for the E-minis, because this is a pretty neutral month. But if we look at the seasonal indicator actually shows that May drops off quite a bit each of these last previous years here. And on the chart itself, we had that correlation a couple years ago. It kind of went sideways for most of May, and then last year May saw a good rally. So we saw one of each possible things in the last 3 years. So let's see where the heat map draws our attention. The heat map for the S&P E-minis is more green than red for sure, but still a little bit sparse in terms of seeing those bars horizontally and vertically. I guess where we could see a couple of areas would be here in the first week. We have somewhat of a sideways green action there, and then more so in the following week. This is where I would look if I were looking long or a bullish area. It would definitely be in the week of May 12th on, as we do have some decent win percentages and dollar values in here. And then concentrate too here on the holiday trade. So this is days before Memorial Day. And we see here seven trading days prior to Memorial Day, 7, 6, and 5. We all have decent winner percentages on these three. So that would be a good place there to be looking for maybe a longer term hold based on the holiday trade. Other than that, it's pretty sparse for May. We expect May to be kind of back and forth as it usually does, and especially in the time we're in right now, where we've gone through a pretty steep decline, and our stocks have now pretty much come back to almost 50% of what they've lost for the most part of this year. So expect more rocky road ahead, especially for May in these stocks. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified on our next videos. Simplexity Analytics, making complex trading simple.